boy C Moto. I wanted to get back to you guys hot off the press. The new Kawasaki update letter. Now this is the second letter, which is the letter for the fix for the second recall. We got the first recall that was to get the initial bikes in there to get the crank bushing bolt checked, torque wise, to see if it was over torqued. There's a previous video that you guys can check out if you wanna take a look at that from the first letter that I got. Just a quick recap. My bike, I purchased it back in September. This was after the first recall. I did ask them at the time of purchase if it was part of the recall. They told me no. I then confirmed with Kawasaki that they said at that time the bike wasn't part of the first recall, so it wasn't. Even though it's a 2025, they said it wasn't part of the first one. So then it was confusing because I got a letter. I got the letter for the second letter, the second part of the recall, stating that there was an additional fix. Not only can you just go back and retorque or check the bolt and retorque it down, but it's a possibility that the bushing itself, the crankcase, the crankshaft bushing, when you tighten it, you over tighten it, which leaves very minimal amount for oil to pass through compared to the other journals or other areas. So that was the damage initially that happened. So they couldn't just go in and change a bolt and retorque it down. There's been further damage because now you've retorqued something, you've tightened something down too much to where the clearance is not good enough. So then that's where this second recall came in for that fix. And it was just to let you know that the first part of the recall wasn't the complete fix. So they said give it till about the beginning of December, and they would send out letters for the actual fix. I'm assuming they were getting parts together, figuring out whatever they were going to do, get a total number of how many possible bikes it was to make sure they have the parts available. And I did receive that letter a couple of days ago that has the details of what exactly it is that's going to be done to the bike. Not much difference than what was done the first time, but there is a difference from the previous letter to this letter. In terms of fixing the bike now, this was, I think it was November 23rd or 27th, something like that. And while this is important, they normally have to get a fix out within 30 days because in certain states, I know here in California, in certain states, the lemon law applies to any vehicles on a stop sale or stop ride. After 30 days, it can turn into a lemon law thing, along with other things that can be a possibility to get the lemon law part put in place for the bikes. So they have to come up with a fix within 30 days. Otherwise, it's going to be a very big problem. And of course, like I said, that's the states that do have the lemon law in place, and California is one of those states. So if I'm not allowed to ride the bike after 30 days and you guys don't fix it, then it can be posed as a lemon law, and that's going to be a problem for them. I like to assume that these bikes, they can all be fixed or whatever it is, but they gotta go ahead and get them done. And it could be costly if they have to do any tear downs or rebuilding motors or putting a new motor. It can be very costly, so it's almost like just buy the bike back in my mind. But if they can fix it cheaper than what it would cost to buy back, then they probably win just doing it that way. So we'll kind of get back to it. Like I said, I have a previous video speaking about the previous recall. Let that previous recall notice that let us know what was what. And we were waiting on the letter for the beginning of December, so it actually came until about the middle of the month, almost to the end. But like I said, they have about 30 days before it can turn into a problem for a lot of states out there. So I'm going to post up the letter side by side so you can read it along with me. So you guys know what it is. This is the actual letter here. Hopefully it's within the video there. But of course, got my information blocked out, address, VIN number, all that stuff. So you can read it along with me. With that being said, just states important safety recall. Again, the 24 to 26, originally it was a 24 to 25, but now they've included certain 26 models as well. the Ninja ZX6R, the 6R KRT edition, the 6R KRT 40th anniversary edition with ABS, and then the 6R with ABS, the 6R KRT edition ABS, and it's about the crankshaft bushing seizure. And it's NHTSA recall number 25V798. And what it says is, dear Kawasaki motorcycle owners, this notice is sent to you in accordance with the National Traffic and Motor Vehicle Safety Act. Kawasaki Motors Corp. USA has decided that a defect which relates to the motor vehicle safety exists in certain 24 to 26 Ninja ZX6R models. And it just says, why does my vehicle need repairs? These motorcycles can lose engine power unexpectedly due to a seizure of the number 5 metal crankshaft bushing. Kawasaki has reason to believe that a prior repair on your vehicle may not have properly addressed this issue, which of course was the first recall that they put out there, where they went in, they checked it about an hour to check and see if it was over torqued. If not, they got a new bolt, torqued it back down. But like I said, there was further damage on in that this is why we're where we're at now. But let me see, vehicle may not have been properly addressing this issue. The method used to torque the crankcase bolts will be different than the ones used in the prior recall. An engine stall increases the risk of a crash. Our records indicate that you have purchased one of these units. Like I said, that's funny because when I first purchased it, they told me that it wasn't part of the recall, and then when I called Kawasaki, they said it wasn't part of the recall. So I have that documented to where now, why would I receive the letter back at the end of November if my bike wasn't part of the recall there? So go figure. They just said that they just wanted to double check, which I'm totally fine with. I'd rather you double check than just make an assumption that my bike is not part of it. And if it's not part of it, fine, you can go in and check. If everything's all good, all is good. But if there is any issues for it to be fixed, as we are on these bikes doing anywhere between 10 to 100 plus on 2 wheels or whatever it is, and we want everybody to be safe, and I'm pretty sure that's in the best interest of Kawasaki to make sure that every rider is safe. So they are making us aware of it, unlike the KTM situation a year or two back or whenever that was, where they were just like, I don't know what's going on, it ain't our fault, blah blah blah. But at least they're admitting fault to it, and they're trying to fix it. So while I gave Kawasaki a chance, I'm gonna go on and give them the chance to go on and get it fixed, because I know worst case scenario, the lemon law is gonna apply and it's gonna turn into a huge class action lawsuit. So in their best interest is to get these bikes fixed. Because if there becomes a third recall after the first one, then you have this second one here, which is the official. The last letter was just letting you know that there was gonna be a more fix to the second recall. If it turns into a third recall, Kawasaki is done in terms of this bike at least. They would probably end up having to buy all these bikes back. I would like to make an assumption, and if not, the class action is gonna be so huge, it's not even gonna be funny, as well as any lemon law payouts, because normally lemon law payouts, they're gonna get you the money, they're gonna pay the bike off, they're gonna get you your money back, plus some, or whatever it is. So it's like they don't need that, so that's why it's in their best interest to get these bikes fixed and or buy them back. But to continue on, it just says do not ride, and it has all the 24 to 26 ZX6R models. I won't read it all over again. This includes vehicles already remedied under campaign MC25-08, and it's the NHTSA recall number 25V376. If you want to look that up, there's all the information on the website when you go to their website. So now what it's basically telling us what's going to happen is, what will your dealer do? Dealers will inspect the number 5 metal crankshaft bearing. Before, it was about the bolt and retorquing it because it was over torqued. Now it's the dealers will inspect the number 5 metal crankshaft bearing on all eligible units already in operation, free of charge. If there is no abnormality with or damage to the bearing, the bolts holding the crankshaft and the crankcase must be retightened properly. If there is any abnormality with the damage to the bearing, the parts must be replaced and the crankshaft properly tightened, or the engine must otherwise be repaired or replaced. The engine. So if they can't just have that simple fix, then the engine's going to have to be repaired and or fully replaced on that note. So this is pretty serious, and I hope these dealers and these mechanics are doing what the hell they're supposed to be doing. They're getting paid for this. They're gonna submit their hours or whatever it is that Kawasaki's gonna pay them, so they don't have to worry about payment. They just got to submit the claim to get the bikes fixed. So I just hope it don't get to a point to where some of these mechanics get tired of dealing with these bikes when they come in and all the work that they're gonna have to do, because as it states below, and I'll continue to read on, the inspection will take up to 1 hour. If repair is necessary, the repair may take up to 11 hours. That's 11 hours, labor hours, that they're gonna have to pay out. Note that the repair may take longer due to scheduling at the dealership and time needed to obtain required parts. From there, it just says, what should you do to ensure your safety? Please call your Kawasaki dealer to schedule an appointment to have your motorcycle repaired. Please have your vehicle identification number, your VIN, ready when calling. To locate the nearest authorized Kawasaki motorcycle dealership, please visit www.kawasaki.com and click on the locate dealer link. For further contact and concerns, if you have questions, please contact Kawasaki's customer care department at 855-878-4217, toll free, between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. Please have your VIN, vehicle identification number, ready when you're calling. If your dealer fails or is unable to remedy this defect without charge or within a reasonable amount of time, you may submit a written complaint to the administrator, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 1200 New Jersey Avenue, Southeast Washington, D.C. 20590. You may also call the toll-free vehicle safety hotline at 1-888-327-4236, or you can go to their website, which is www.nhtsa.gov. And then from there, it just says if you're not the registered owner, then make sure that to forward a copy to the person that you sold the bike to if you're no longer the registered owner. And it just says if you've paid any money to go into these repairs, that there's a full or partial reimbursement of your documented cost of repairs. To apply reimbursement, please send copies of the current original owner VIN and copies of your repair orders, payment confirmation to the following address. And it's just Kawasaki's website, Kawasaki's address, their P.O. box. And that's pretty much it. It just says, we're sorry for any inconvenience this may cause, but we have taken action in the interest of your safety and continued satisfaction with the Kawasaki motorcycle. So again, like I said, it can be up to 11 hours worth of work that they may have to do. And I can assume it's probably going to happen with quite a few bikes, that they're going to have to go in and actually do that repair job and or replace the engine. Either way, the bike is brand spanking new. I just got it in September. It's still under its manufacturer's warranty, so it's going to get taken care of either way. On top of that, after this fact, on that note, additionally, we purchased a 5-year unlimited mile warranty for it. So within 5 years, no matter how many miles I put on it, the bike will be covered or whatever it is, assuming that I take care of all the maintenance and everything that's due when they're due, because that is one thing that they will ding you for. If you don't take care of a certain maintenance at a certain mile point, or when it's recommended that it's due, it can void the warranty of something messing up, possibly. So you need to make sure that you stay on top of your maintenance, whether you do it yourself, document it, keep receipts, and of course keep the receipts and documentation if you do take it to a shop. But it seems like they finally got the parts, whatever it is that they want to get ready for these bikes or whatever it is at the point. Now they're telling us to go in and call the dealerships and go on and get them in there. So seems like they got it worked out, I guess. For now, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna call my dealership where I bought the bike from, here in Southern Cali, and then I'm gonna just run the bike in there, and they can keep it for however long they need to keep it. I'm not gonna be in a rush, because I need you to fix this bike. Of course, I have a family that I have, and I want to make sure that I come home to them any day that I ride this thing or whatever it is. I'm extremely happy with the bike. I haven't had any problems with it, so hopefully my bike is just excluded from this whole mess. I think I got about 11 or 1,200 miles on it or whatever it is. I did my break-in oil change at about 500 or 600 miles, somewhere around there. the bike's been great. I just oiled the chain, as you see, my tools and the chain wax. Just did my chain adjustment and cleaned the chain and waxed it, so we're good there. Since I haven't really ridden it, it was my first one, and I try to clean the bike as best as I can. But I love this bike. I really do. And if all is well, I mean, I would love to give Kawasaki a chance and see what the ZX10R would be, because I can only imagine that bike is that much more funner when it comes to riding. But like I said, I'm a Yamaha branded rider for the most part, and because at the time they didn't have an update on whether they were going to have the 2026 R1, they had put the advertisement out there, or marketed it out there, right after I bought this one. So I was kind of upset about that part, because I wanted to get the R1. But I said, oh, let me just get this as something in between. I'll pay this off real quick. It'll be a side bike I have. And if they decide, and when they decide to do the 2026 R1, I'll just go get it. I'll have this one on the side. I can just throw miles on this. I can just put crazy miles on this. And then I'll have the R1 where I don't put as many miles on it and try to keep it as pristine as possible. So now that it's out, or whatever it is, now I'm just planning to go in and make that purchase as soon as I get done with this one. So depending on how the fix goes with this will determine. If they don't fix it or something happens, then I'm gonna run it through a lemon law deal, and I'm gonna get my money back. They're gonna have to take this bike back at this point. I'm gonna have to return it, and they're gonna have to pay me out on whatever I put into it, or whatever it is, which at this point I'm gonna just stop. I'm not gonna do anything. Like I said, I'm not gonna tune the bike. I don't want no issues there where something happens and then they say, oh, you tuned the bike, so this is probably the reason why, blah, blah, blah. So I'll just leave it the way it is. I mean, it's just a 600. I ain't trying to go through all the mess for 5 or 6 horsepower or whatever it is. Like, it's not that big of a deal, as I said in my previous video. But I did throw the Toast slip on, so I got rid of the resonator and that big fart can. I put a sequential brake light on it. For those that don't know, that didn't see my previous video, but check out my previous video of the mods that I did do. I got rear spools on it, so I was able to lift it with my lift. And then I got the fender eliminator, which is foldable or whatever. I think from there is I may or may not take these reflectors off, but that is pretty much it. If there was anything else that I come up with, I'll make sure to get back to you guys and let you know about it. From there, I'll update you on anything else that I further get. I will be calling Kawasaki to see if there's any additional information that I do need to know when it comes to this part before I take the bike and drop it off, so they can start working on it. So if you guys have any questions or concerns or anything that I can report or answer for you, please don't hesitate to type down below, and I'll do my best to get you guys the information. So with that said, I appreciate a like, subscribe, and share if you guys know anybody that has a ZX6R with these problems between the 24 and 26 models. And yeah, we will go from there. But stay with me on this journey to see how this pans out at the end of the day, or whatever it is, because I'm very curious. A lot of bikes that they're gonna have to deal with and take care of. So that said, I will leave you guys at that. If you guys are the original owners of these, be looking out for your letters inside the mail. Not that it matters or anything like that. You can call Kawasaki and get any information you want, or plug it into their website. Or just call your local dealer, give them the VIN number, and they will be able to get you the information as well. But I'm all set up. I'm gonna go in as we speak right now and call my dealer up, as I think they opened at 10 o'clock, and go on and get a schedule in before all the bikes start getting called in, or whatever it is. Spring will be here before you know it. We don't know how long it'll take to get through all these bikes and stuff like that. So my suggestion is to get your bike in there as soon as possible, so your wait is not too crazy, so you're not dealing with this come springtime when it's time to bring all the bikes out. Of course, here in Southern Cali, we're good. We got a high of 73 today in the middle of December. So that's the one thing being here is the weather. I love it. That's what we're paying to live here for. I would say a big part of it is the weather. We could ride all year long. But we do have our cold days, and it don't get no less than probably 50, 45, maybe, on the lowest. But 72 is our high today. or whatever it is. So I will leave you guys at that. It's your boy C Moto. Until next time, again, like, share, subscribe. Of course, if you want to, and we will check you guys on the next one. Peace out.